earlier,
Yeah.
because I assume it's noon for you, right?
Yes, it is. Let's see. It's actually 1:13 right now, because of daylight savings, but
Hmm.
yeah.
Just letting you know that I'm recording already. I don't know if I'm gonna use like it. I kind of
Okay.
use. I want the conversation to kind of be natural, so
Right.
maybe I don't start like right now with the,
hmm
but I don't want it like three, two, one, go like that. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Understandable.
um, I'm kind of surprised. You kind of sound a little bit like Nina. Oh, not
Yeah.
Nina. Who was the other? Oh no, your voice seems familiar or similar to, or is it one of the Sky sisters? I can't remember now.
Oh, yeah. Sky the Virus and Skywriter.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I talked there. Well, Sky Rider. She's been on the podcast as well, or the conversation as well.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but when you, yeah, I think your voice sounds different on stream than it does to me now. I don't know if what it is when people listen to
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah, I've gotten that before, like on Discord when I'm in like voice chats. My friends always say like my voice sounds different on stream than it does on Discord. I don't know. I don't know if it sounds clearer or
I
not
don't know
sure.
either. I think it sounds amazing. It sounds great. It's not that, but it's just when you talked to the first time was I just got that, you've heard it before or reference for something, you know.
hmm Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you.
Well, it's great.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing at all. So yeah. So I'm happy we could find the time to do it.
Yes.
You know, it's always hard when, especially when you have different time zones. Oh my god, I
Yeah. Yeah.
and then most of the people I know online, like content creators and stuff like that, it usually is in America. So
hmm
the most of them are, um, yeah, very different
Yeah.
time zones. But you get to learn them. That's why I
What
asked
time
where
is
you
it for
lived.
you then right now?
What?
What time is it for you then right now?
It's 15 past 7.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
it's just
Okay,
like
yeah.
15 over noon for you.
Right.
Yeah,
Big difference.
yeah. I don't know if you know the
Yeah.
guy Am. Or
Uh, doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, he was also somebody that streamed Trove when I streamed Trove,
hmm
and he lives 6 hours, so he's on the East Coast.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, so I kind of figure out where people kind of live, and like East Coast is 6 hours, middle is 7, and then 8 on the
hmm
West Coast. So
Yeah. I'm like right in Central Time, and then like an hour to the east of me is Mountain Time. So very close to a time difference, but Central Time. I did used to live in Eastern Time,
mm.
but recently moved to Central. So yeah.
Oh, so I'm not gonna ask, like I'm not asking where you live, but are you north or south? Because I've been south. I've been I've been in Dallas or
Uh-huh.
Texas.
Yeah, nice. So I'm very open about where I live. So I live in North Dakota. I'm like very north. We're about 3 hours away from the Canadian border. So we're pretty high up there.
Hmm.
Um, but I used to live back in Pennsylvania, and that's pretty high up north on the East Coast as well. So I think where we're at North Dakota right now is actually higher. But yeah, I've always lived in the northern, but I would travel. I've traveled almost to every state in the US, and I've definitely been to Dallas. Dallas is really nice.
Hmm.
Texas is very hot. Very, very hot. But yeah, it's it's nice.
Hmm. Yeah, I went to so before I played Trove. Well, I played Trove when it was very new, before it came on Steam and such. But when I really came back to the game, before that, I played a game called Path of Exile.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Nice.
I was in the community, and there was one guy in there. His name was Ian, and he
Mhm.
lived in Dallas. And I went visit him. That's the first time I've been to US 3 times now. And the first time that was just by myself going and visiting him in Dallas, and went all the way
Mhm.
down to San Antonio and stuff like that. Um,
Oh, nice.
so when you say you said North Dakota,
Yep, North Dakota.
and then you got South Dakota, right?
Yep. So South Dakota is right below us.
Yeah. And
Yep.
then what do you got? Do you got the Texas after that, or is there something between?
There's like a few states in between. Like Texas is at the very, very bottom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's like Colorado or something in there.
Mm.
One of those states. But yeah.
I'm not trying to quiz you on the states of.
No, no, no. You're good. You're good.
This is not that kind of podcast where it's like, can you name all the 50 states, or
Yes.
no, that's not how it is. Or any like any country in Europe. No, that's not
Yeah.
it.
All good. All good.
But I do have more of a serious question. If I can
Mhm.
ask you, I don't know. I don't want don't want to offend anybody here or anything like that.
No,
Um,
that's the
and
way.
I've been going in my head a long time because before Christmas, I streamed a little bit and stuff like that, and then I was, streaming Trove, and I had people in my chat and stuff like that, and I talked about
Hmm.
people that I wanted to have on the podcast and talk with them, and I mentioned you because that was
Hmm.
one of the people I wanted to talk to, and I said she, and then that was a person in chat. I don't remember his name or anything like that, but he said that she uh, or she is a he, and
Hmm.
I was saying no, I don't think that's anything. So I'm not trying to offend anybody. I was just curious if
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
anything that was there. And you feel free. We can just cut this whole part out, like for me asking. So if you don't want to talk about it, I didn't ask you anything, but if you
Yeah.
want to keep
No,
it private, just say that. But uh, I'm
that's
really,
totally fine.
okay. I'm sweating
So
here. I'm really
any
sweating.
You're good, you're good. So any question you're more than welcome to ask. This is actually a very good topic that we're bringing up here.
Mm,
Because for me it has been very tough with some backlash I've gotten about this, and people have been very curious. And I have tried and cleared the air up with a lot of people, but since, this is my first, I guess, interview,
sure.
I've never yeah, I've never been interviewed before, and this is amazing, but, I guess this is the perfect time to say that, I am very online, I'm very gender fluid in that I don't really conform to whatever. You can just assume I don't really care,
Mm,
but for me personally, I go by he, him, I'm a male, um, but my voice, on here is very very high, and even in person, it's very high,
mm,
um, but I don't I've gotten the things where people say that I've taken hormones or like I do this stuff, but nope, everything is natural. And I've definitely lost a lot of friends over this topic, and it is hard, but I just kind of do my own thing, and if people accept me for me, then that's great. But yeah.
mm. Yeah,
So
thank
just
you for being very open about that because
oh yes.
I was, I wasn't. This is not to offend anybody, or I didn't try to lure you in, but that was like the not one of the reasons I wanted you on, but I was curious, and I think it's very important that
Hmm.
it gets talked about, that it's okay. Like
Yeah,
I
definitely.
have a simple like way of life, if that makes any sense, where it's like if you're not hurting anybody or you're not hurting yourself with whatever you're doing, then you
Hmm.
should go ahead and do it. And if you
Right.
want to be whatever you want to be, like, and whatever I want to be, it doesn't really matter. It's just, I'm not hurting anybody, you're not hurting anybody,
Exactly.
so it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter. Like,
Yeah, you're just being who you are, and again, if people accept you for that, then that's great, but if they don't, that's okay too.
yeah. Yeah, it
But
really, really is.
yeah.
Something I have recently thought about though, because everybody's like, talking about there being different genders and stuff like that. There's not just only two or whatever.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but would you agree with me? And I don't know if I'm out of line here, but would you agree to that there's two base genders?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, how I look at it is more of like there's two like sexes that you're assigned at birth, male or female, and
Mm.
then the genders, how that is more of like a social construct where
Mm.
it's like you have people say gender as male and female, but there's also like LGBTQ, like lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, whatever.
Mm.
But there's also in like different cultures, like Indian culture, Hawaiian culture. I actually watched a video the other day about Hawaiian culture and how they have more of like a male gender where you conform more to like the male spirit, as they say, and then the female spirit. And then there's also a middle one where it's more of like a fluid, more between the male and female. And they, in their culture, are respected and they're caretakers and things like that. So I would agree that there is, two sexes at birth, of
Mm.
course. But yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
but
definitely.
whatever. Sorry, if
Oh,
whatever people you know, identify themselves with, is okay with me. I I don't know. To personally, I don't know if I identify with any gender or any sex. I don't really go too much into that. Like,
yeah,
if I don't think it's a question that needs to be defined by anything. Like, it doesn't. But so if somebody asks, I would probably say male. But I feel like people concern themselves too much with questions like that. Like, who is
right.
this? Like, what gender are you? And what gender are you? And like, people are trying to
Mhm.
identify. Just like, no matter what the person identified, just identify the person as a person, and then just like, yeah, there's another person there. You don't have to analyze the person any more than that. Just
Exactly.
just
Yeah. Like, look at people with as them being the person, because there's no two people that are the same, of course. So, a person, you don't have to put them into groups or categories to try and understand them more. They're them,
mm,
they're their own person. Get to know them better, more so than,
yeah.
grouping them. And
I,
yeah.
I feel like maybe people care too much about other people. I know, wait, we should care about each other, right? But I think people care too much about like the wrong things. Like they
Yeah.
just got hung up on like there. So the mentality I have is just I don't care about people. If you know what I mean. Like if it's a
Hmm.
it sounds harsh when I say that. Of course, I care about some people, but it's the more like if like you, I don't care whatever you are. If you're nice to me, I'm gonna be nice to you. If you're mean to me, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
mean to you. That's just it. But I'm not. I'm
Mm.
gonna always start being nice to you, and if you then turn out being mean, then I'll be mean to you as well. Like that's I'm not a.
Exactly.
But
Yeah, and even on like here, like Discord or Trove in general, you don't really know anybody until you actually go out and talk to them. And, they're just what you see as their profile or profile picture or name or whatever. So, it's kind of neat to just go out and talk to people where you don't really know them at all.
mm,
And then you get to learn them or know them more. Um, and yeah, I've met a ton of amazing people in here, and I've been so blessed with the friends I have.
mm,
But yeah, I always like to get to know more people.
mm.
It's very fun.
Yeah, that's I've talked about it this in previous episodes as well. But this is kind of for me. It's also an excuse to talk to a person I know of, but haven't had a conversation with, or just like, hey, this is me, this is you. Uh, we might not be best friends after this, but we will at least be more acquainted with each other, and just
Right.
have a conversation with a person or get to know a person that I didn't know before. So it's also
Yeah.
kind of a trap.
It's a
Luring
it's a
people in
fun.
with content, and oh yeah, it's for no. I know it is though, but
Exactly.
that was the podcast or conversation came out of me just wanting to talk to somebody. Not like,
Hmm.
oh, I have to talk to somebody because there was something wrong, but it's just like I wanted
Right.
to talk to somebody, and I felt like, or I actually got a lot of encouragement to do more podcasts, because I don't know if you know, I had a podcast before that was like strictly, or not strictly, but mostly Trove. Like it was
Hmm.
because, and there was a lot of work that went into that behind the scenes. Not only like getting to talk to people, or getting them to come on, but also um, you know prepping questions and stuff like that, because there's like specific things we wanted to talk about. There was,
Right.
but it was also when they had their live stream, so we just kind of went off
Yeah.
whatever they announced and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
So this is just more casual. I don't know what I'm gonna ask you. Well, sometimes I do have some pre-questions, but I don't know what it's gonna end in. Like, let's say 15 minutes. I don't know where we're gonna end up, what we're gonna talk about.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm gonna ask and whatever comes up and run with a topic if
Alrighty.
there's something to keep
Yeah.
talking about.
Alrighty. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, I'm happy we had the talk about that, and I hope like really
Hmm.
like people. And I think it's
Yeah.
just it must be extremely hard to you know because you like it must be even harder now, right? That
Hmm.
to identify as something, right?
Right. Oh yeah, yeah. And tying it back to on here where it's I've I've definitely gone through a lot of struggles with running a club as someone that, identifies not like everybody else.
Mm,
There's been a lot of conversations, a lot of fights over things that are just not true, a lot of rumors and stuff. But, you know, again, I just like to, stay true to myself
mm.
and, you know, yeah.
I think that's the only uh, the way to go. But the way I was thinking is like um, I think there's harder to kind of identify because there's like people are very either they're with you or they're very against you. I don't think there's like
Yes.
anybody
Yes.
truly in the middle, if you know what I mean. Like it's more either, and people do want to voice their things. I don't know. I just
Hmm.
feel like it might be. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's for me. It just kind of seems like some people are fed up with it, and some people are not. And I don't know if it's
Hmm.
gonna get worse before it gets better, before people like accept it more. I don't know, or if it's just gonna.
Yeah. I hope it does get better.
Mm,
More, I don't know, more mainstream, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
But
I'm not only talking about people identifying as um, other genders, but also like other things. There's so many things that people has come up like in the last 10 years or something like that.
mhm.
People being this and that, and like I think there's so many things to keep track of. I don't know that these people. I hope it doesn't
Yeah.
get worse, and I hope it does get better for people that want to just be themselves.
Right, right. And, if someone wants to identify as something or something new, I guess, then by all means go for it. But I have seen, a lot of arguments about how people that identify as like just their birth assigned sex and just straight or whatever,
Mm.
um, that, they don't really approve of it, so they'll just make fun or harass them. So it'll always be like a never ending battle, but I do hope it does get better.
Mm. So I do have to ask. Well, I don't have to ask, but I want to ask. So people know that, or some people might know, that what you define as and stuff like that. But I guess there's also like people that has been positive about it, right? And there's also been people that might maybe because you're more. I wouldn't say a public figure and say, but maybe people know more about how you are.
Right.
Um, then they might be like sending you messages that they have issues and like have
Yeah, yeah.
have you
Um,
experienced getting messages like that and
oh yeah, yeah. I've gotten several messages from people saying like how do I deal with it, or how I can maybe help them with um tips on how to navigate this certain situation. But it is definitely like empowering, I guess would be the right word, to be able to help them, because, I started this Trove, socializing journey very young, and in this community. I was around like 13, 14, and, at that age, I was very like emotional and didn't really know how to navigate these situations. So I did the best I could, but now that I have the experience, I'm able to help them, and tell them, that it's okay. Like you don't have to allow these people's opinions to rub off on you and hurt you and stuff like that. So it's it's definitely really nice to be able to help others like that.
Yeah, I just wanted to like because I've I've heard about people that um, or I have I have a friend or whatever you can call it, like a acquaintance as well, and he's a bigger content creator and stuff like that, and he has
Hmm.
people that message him about sometimes when they're feeling bad and stuff like that. Not to say that just in your case, but or um, but sometimes he's there for other people, and I've been there a few times for other people that I really don't know, but they just like message me and like they were feeling bad, and
Yeah.
I gave them an encouraging message, and kind of felt they felt I was there for them and stuff. So yeah,
Hmm.
and I just
Yeah.
kind of assumed that there would be people that also kind of said uh you know wanted to reach out in a way.
Right. And I always let my members or anybody that I meet on here know that my DMs are always open. You can talk to me about whatever, and I'll do the best I can to help. But I've even been in a few like support discords and group chats with Trove players and players on here. So it's there's definitely a lot of people that, don't really there's just a lot of I don't know what the right word would be to say, but, um, there's
There's a
definitely a lot
need
of
for
people.
support.
Yes, there's a need. There's
Yeah.
a need out there, but
Yeah, I assume this there is in general anywhere, and it's also a little saddening, right? Like there's people out there that just having
mhm,
a really rough time, and I've had rough
right.
times as well, and I remember back to them, and also that people are setting in them right now because I'm feeling pretty good right now, especially talking to you,
Mhm. Yeah.
uh, and but yeah, and it's just very a little discomforting, that's how things that hard times fall upon people. But don't want to bring this conversation completely down and full of depression. But yeah, we just
All
we
good.
have our ups and downs, and
Yep,
yeah,
yep, for
I just
sure.
want to help everybody, right? Just want to
Exactly, yeah. Just want everyone to feel loved.
exactly. Exactly. Hopefully, people will with the conversation we're having. But
Yes,
I
yes.
think we should turn it into something. I wouldn't say more positive, but I just want to bring my own mood up. So I want to talk a little bit about Trove, actually,
Yes.
because you are a pretty. Would you? How would you define yourself as a at the Trove? I don't
I
know. Famous meter? Is that a? Is that a?
Yeah, I mean, I've done it all. I really have. I'm not the most famous, but I'm present.
Mm,
I am present in situations. That's how I would put it.
yeah.
But yeah,
It seems like you, at least when you stream, that you get a decent amount of people that want to watch you and
yeah,
join you for whatever adventures you are doing and such. Um, and
yeah.
there was just
Streaming.
I've talked to Nina as well, and
Mhm. Oh yes.
you probably know her as well.
Yep. Very good friends with Nina.
Mm. And I had by the way, a great conversation with her as well. Um, but I was just like, I think we all like kind of measure in a way. I feel like but it's also maybe in one's own world, you might think you're bigger than you actually think. I
Right.
don't.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
It's just because recently I saw some guy's video, and he posted it on Reddit, and I watched some of the videos and just like, and he kind of called out some streamers and or some content creators on YouTube, and didn't mention
Hmm.
me, and I thought like, oh,
Hmm.
I didn't not that I felt like I needed to be recognized in that way because he was calling him out for being bad. So maybe it's just that
Oh,
maybe I'm just good. I don't know. That could also be the reason,
yeah.
but I just felt like you know how maybe you in
Right.
your own world again feel like you're much bigger than you are, but
Yeah.
But you have your I was about to say fingers. It sounds like you're like some kind of magician or something like. But you are in a few different communities, right?
Yes, yes. I also own a few different communities as well. So I own Imperium. That's more of like a delve geode sort of community. And then I also own the Club Shangri-La. That is more of like a new player friendly community. Um, Lots of giveaways, voice chats, all that fun stuff. And Imperium is more of like my end game player base. I'm also very present in the Trevosaurus community. I help run the club section on Trevosaurus, and that also entails like the community leader spotlights. So that's kind of like my interview process in a way,
Mm.
that I'm able to go out and talk to these club leaders and get their opinions on the game, talk about their clubs a little, members, whatever. And that's so much fun, because I'm able to talk to not only PC people but my Xbox people, PS4 people, all that fun stuff. What other communities are there? I think those are my main ones. Oh, of course, Alpha Legacy. That has been my main community and my ride or die for almost the whole time I've played PC. And that community is run by Nina. She's absolutely amazing. I love her. But yeah, so those are my main communities.
Yeah, bunch of them. So you talk to all these club leaders. Is that behalf of
Mhm.
Trophosaurus or behalf of Trove itself?
That is more Trovosaurus related. So we've had Lefty Master, who runs All in Four. We've had this month, we actually have Shankara Redlin. He is the owner of Barrows. So that's really exciting. Let's see, we've done Turtle Has Arrived. He's a PS4 player. And just a ton of club leaders, but that's on behalf of Trovosaurus. It would be neat if Trove would have, something like that to recognize club leaders. I've always thought of having some validation. I don't know, as a club leader, it'd be nice to, because you manage all these players, and it's really something to be able to have the strength to be able to lead a community. But yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that seems very. There seems a lot of work that goes into it. I know Nina like
Hmm.
also puts on
Oh
quite
yes.
a lot of work into that. But I was just asking because I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago, Trove themselves or Gamigo, however you put it, put
Hmm.
in they wanted to have some volunteers for GMs, So I was
Hmm.
just thinking
Yep.
if that was something that was unpaid for you or maybe, but still there was something you were doing for them. That's why I asked
Right.
about either Trovosaurus or Trove itself.
Yeah. And I would like to talk about this a bit, because I have had the amazing privilege, and this is one of the opportunities that I've been blessed with, but I've had the opportunity to become a forums moderator. So I was one of those volunteers for about a year or so. I stepped down back a few months back, um, but I did have that opportunity. It was an amazing opportunity. I would mod the forums. There was four of us. Ghost Riders, myself, Kibayuki, and Yusuf. They were great. They were amazing. But yeah, and that was an amazing opportunity that I was I was really happy to have. It's really fun. But yeah.
What that was were you a moderator when it was under Tryon World or under I can't even can't remember when they got sold to.
Yeah, they got sold probably close to 2 years back now,
Yeah.
sometime around there. But no, this was during the game ago. Because they launched the volunteer program, um, a few months after
Hmm.
it got bought. So yeah, I mean, anyone is able to, to any of the viewers, if you're interested, you're more than welcome to apply to be a GM or forums moderator. But yeah, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I was interested in it when I when I first read about it, because there was a line that was like there was events. It was like you were supposed to be one of the tasks you had was to also do in-game events with
Yeah,
that, like
yeah.
maybe throw pinatas or whatever it would be. That's what I assumed it would be, or something like that. I don't know. It wouldn't be something
Hmm.
where you actually the event we have going on right now. Of course, you wouldn't be part of that, but whatever they did back in the day, where they was like, hey, on Friday they were gonna throw a bunch of pinatas beyond or whatever. And that really
Right.
spoke to me, because I would do other kinds of events, but then the some of the tasks was also like rule or whatever in disputes between players and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't want to be a judge, and I don't want to be the troll police. I just want to do lots of like have unlimited resources to do fun things in Trove, like for people, like, hey, come, we're gonna throw a bunch of pinata for you today. Come join, whatever, fun stuff
Right.
like that. Uh, that would be something I would think was fun, and coming up with fun mini events, if you can say it like that, where we're just having
Yeah.
screwing around and stuff like that in a way. So that was what kind of got me interested in wanting to be a GM, but then like all that police stuff and judgment stuff, I was
Mm.
just like, nah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always thought like having some players have being able to host these events or being able to, stream them would be even better.
Mm.
But yeah, it would be really neat to see. I haven't heard much about if anybody is on the GM program, but it's still out there. So
Yeah, you can still apply, and
right,
the
yeah.
same thing both with in-game and on the forums. But what attracted you to be the forum GM?
Forms moderator.
Yeah, moderator.
So this was when it like first launched. There was no game masters. It was just forums moderators. And at the time, the age requirement was 16, and I was 16 at the time. And I applied, and I was, I didn't really expect much to happen because I didn't know if I was going to get accepted or whatever. But it was definitely something that I was interested in. It'd be fun. I've always liked helping the community, helping the bigger plan picture, whatever. So then, I applied and then I got accepted. I was one of the 4 original that got accepted. So we worked on the forms. I had very little experience with the forms when I first went in. But I quickly learned, and yeah, it was really fun. And
So
now they have their English section, but also they've added like their Spanish, German, tons of different sections on the forums now. So they've definitely expanded since I first went on.
yeah, all the patch notes are also in both German, and because
Yeah.
it's I think Gamigo is like main core or main what's it called, headquarters is in Germany.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, that's what I heard when it was there. But did you kind of OG in a way then, when it's this many years you've been around? So did you get any I wouldn't say personal relationship, but did you know some of the original developers, and did they know you like back in the day?
I was around, but I didn't really outreach to much of the developers back then.
Mm.
I did outreach to SK Fantasy. He's the lead console developer. And this is back in 2015, 2016 is when I played on PC, but I then switched to Xbox. So I was an Xbox player for many years.
Oh,
And then I switched back to PC in 2019. So when I was on Xbox, I was, focused on Xbox, of course, but I did like to outreach to the PC community, and that's kind of what got me to wanting to go more into the PC community, right?
mm.
Because I just saw like I had all these friends on PC now that I couldn't play with, and it was kind of sad. So, and that's when I got my computer, and yeah, from
Mm.
there I switched to PC.
So so you do like you. Well, you're PC now, so you must like it in some way better. But I'm just saying, is it because like there's more going on for PC in a social way, and then there is in the consoles? I don't know the scene on the consoles actually. So
Yeah, yeah. So for consoles, so I was a very big social butterfly on consoles back then. I own the Trove Club Quest Xbox Discord. Nina owns the Trove Club Quest. Nina and Avish own the Trove Club Quest for PC. I own the Xbox one, and that's what we use as our community server. Um, but I loved interacting with people in consoles, but I did like to switch to PC because there was more of that social aspect to it, more people, more streams. I was a big stream watcher back then. And also just like more opportunities. This was back when um this is when I started to get that forums moderator job, and I had to take more attention to PC. But also, I was staff in clubs at this point on PC. So, whereas on Xbox, I had my clubs, of course, but I wasn't staff in any. So, I just kind of switched my focus to PC more. But on occasions, I do like to go back to Xbox and catch up with people. But
hmm. Yeah, I assume you since you know or own the Quest one, you are
yeah.
kind of bound to it in some way. Um,
Yep.
yeah. So now I kind of forgot my question though. um, no, it was in relations to the whole mod of the forums and stuff like that. How much do you get involved with, or do you get any like heads ups and stuff like that for whatever, or just your
So, yes. So, for my position, it was I got some information. There wasn't much, seeing as it is volunteer. But we did have that. We worked with the devs essentially, so we would talk to them on a daily, get feedback. Um, we also, myself and another mod, opened a Discord. It was a community feedback Discord, and that's what we used to gather some feedback from players because at the time it was mainly just forums feedback and feedback from Trevosaurus, but Trevosaurus was so sporadic at the time that it was just like you'd have to try and pick apart every message there. So we opened that Discord and it went well. We got some feedback in. I had the privilege of being able to talk and trying having some things added to the game, based on my recommendation, which was really really neat. Um, Also, we streamed as mods. That was fun. We gave away dev dream codes.
yeah.
The devs would give us some codes to give away. And yeah, it was just a really fun time. But yeah.
Yeah, so I actually remember that now you say it. You had your own Twitch, what's it called, channel.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
and I remember that now that you were one of them that was streaming on that one. So that was just an initiative from you guys. That was the forum monitor.
Yes.
Oh,
Yep. So that was from me and Ghost. And then it got, we did have to unfortunately stop streaming at that point because um, they kind of took their focus more from like a community to more of like the official Discord. So like Trevosaurus, or the official forms of communication. So like Trevosaurus, the forums, the French Discord, the French community Discord, and now they've opened their own Discord. Um, but they are, I, I did, I had a talk with one of the staff yesterday. His name is Dan. Shout out to Dan. Hi, Dan. They're sending him out in various Discords to try and get some, feedback and some bugs. So that is nice that they're allowing their staff to branch out some more.
mm.
And I definitely would like to see some more staff try and branch out. It'd be really cool.
Yeah. I would. I would love to actually stream like once a week on the official Trove I was
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
call it app. I was about to call it app. I mean, on the official Trove channel, where it wouldn't be like uh, per se fun and games in a way, but it would be more of a relaxed atmosphere where it was also helping people. Like it was be a
Right.
live, not Q&A per se, but I think I know everything there is to know about the game by now, so I would be able to help people. I know I could do the same thing through my own channel, but it just
Hmm.
would be more of an official kind of thing where it's just be this is a help session, I guess, in a way. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
because
I've
that was kind of
I've
what
def-
you had with the forum thing. Actually, I felt like.
right. Right, yeah. And I've talked to the devs before about maybe, bringing back the streams. I know that Moby did do a stream not too long ago, for it was like a just a awareness for their charity. It
Mm,
was the Grow the Trees event. But he did a stream, but it would be neat to have the regular streams back. I don't know if they plan on doing that. Also having maybe like, the content creators program,
mm.
um,
They have
some form of that
a content creator program now.
for Game
The
Ago. Like,
yeah, the old one
yeah, yeah.
was we got all those free codes, and it was kind of flawed
Hmm.
because people applied and they streamed a little bit and then they just stopped, but they still got sent codes, so people just
Yeah.
piled up. That was not really a great system per se, even though it didn't really cost them anything per se or in whatever. But
Right.
I kind of see they couldn't really moderate it because they really didn't know who was streaming still and who wasn't.
Hmm.
Um, and well, I guess they could have gone around and asked people, but they were just gonna say yes, maybe, right?
Right.
But then they have made a new system. It There's something that they offer to some people. I know Lord Faffy has it, and Thife or Shoshi, whatever his name is now.
Yeah.
They have it, and it's more of a if you want to buy something in their shop in the in-game shop, you can use their link, and then they get a little percentage of it.
Oh,
And
nice.
to be honest, I don't know if the other system was better, but I'm not a fan of that system. I'd rather not have people. Well, I know
Yeah.
if you're gonna buy anything else, you might as well help the person there. But to be honest, I felt like it would be better to um, do some codes or some. I know codes maybe just seems very boring in a way, but you know,
Right.
um,
Because
I don't
with
know.
the referral code, if I guess that's what it's called,
Yeah.
you kind of pressure your viewers to buy stuff more, more so to instead of
Yeah,
giveaways.
in a way, yeah.
Um,
I felt like
yeah.
it kind of feels like that, but then on the other hand, I don't like. I would kind of. I'm always telling people not to, spend money if they don't have the money. If it's like this, you don't
Right.
really like. Everybody's always, or a lot of people still. The whole pay to win aspect of Trove, I guess we might as well. That's the kind of the angle there's there. Like, I got people still on my YouTube videos, complaining about, them being pay to win and all that stuff. And I
Hmm.
explain to them every single time that Trove is not pay to win. Trove is pay to faster. And that's
Yeah.
actually, I confirmed that on one of the old podcasts where I actually had one of the devs on, and he agreed with me. It was Kumar, if you remember that guy.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, he agreed with me that Trove is pay to faster, which means it's just if you want to skip ahead, you don't want to do like maybe you don't want to play like a let's say 100 hours, get unlocking all the classes. You can just buy them if you have the money, right? But you can do it,
Hmm.
just you just do it faster, and there is no actually winning in Trove except if you define Trove by being number one on the leaderboards by winning Trove, if that's what I mean. Like
Right.
you can play the game completely for free. Yeah, you would never be number one on leaderboards, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't give you anything. You can be in top 2,000 mastery if you want to have the yellow name, if that's your defiant or definition of winning in Trove. But you can still play the
Yeah.
game. Like this.
Right. Yeah. Because Trove is very, pay to progress.
Mm.
It's not very pay to win. Although I will say I am myself pay to win or pay to progress.
Me too. I bought
Because
stuff in the
yeah.
shop as well. I'm on 500 points or something like that. So.
Oh, nice, nice. But yeah, I always buy like the new packs that come out or whatever. Just because I enjoy like the mastery grind. But yeah,
Mm.
definitely there's no winning in Trove. It's just, you try and collect as much as you can.
Yeah.
Try and get the highest power rank or whatever. But yeah, like I know a ton of people that are free to play. And they're right up there with all the big dogs, and they're perfectly happy.
Yeah, exactly. And I also just want to define that it's people are more coming from a place like, oh, I can, like it feels like they've given up on the game, like the way they complain about it, like I can't, I might as well just quit this game because I can't get number one if I don't pay for it. It's like, but you don't have
Right,
to be number
yeah.
one. Like I'm not number one. I'm like 1,200 or something like that on the Trove Mastery or something like that, and I have no intention of, well, if there's something in the shop I want to buy, I'm gonna buy it. I have the money for it,
Right.
right? But it's more, I don't have to. But I do see if you feel like you have to, but then you're just going in with the wrong mindset. I feel like towards Trove, right?
Right. Yeah, because at that point it's like you're not really having fun with it. You're just doing it to do it. So,
Also, recently somebody talked about the pack. They said that, oh, the packs are so good, so they're kind of forcing us to buy them. But then I said, yeah, they're kind of they are already making the packs awesome because that's the way they live. So if they make them very bad or shitty, nobody's gonna be like, no, I don't want to pay whatever $10 or €10, whatever it is, for this pack
right,
because
right.
it sucks. So they actually have to make it awesome. So you're actually gonna buy it because else they won't get any money. You know.
Yeah. Right. And, if they put these nice items in there, then I'll be more inclined to buy it. But, if they put, say, like really bad values of, because there was a pack not too long ago that was like some nitro and some stuff to augment your or fix your gear or whatever. And it wasn't the best in terms of the value of it, but um, you know, having the packs with mastery or something that's good or worth it, I'm definitely more inclined to buy it then. But
Hmm. Actually, yeah. Well, you talked about you talked to who was it? Dan was his name.
yep, Dan.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get Moby on the podcast as well.
Oh yes.
I was about to. Well, 3 weeks ago, I reached out to him and he said in a couple of weeks because they got something going on apparently. So they're
Hmm.
working on something at least.
Yeah.
Um, and then I reached out to him again. I said it's a few weeks, and he says he's still busy. But I hope to get him on as well and talk to him
Yeah,
because
Moby's pretty cool to talk to.
yeah. So you have spoken to him like in a
Yeah, I spoke with him, when I had because part of the program of being a volunteer, you have to have like a in-person interview as well.
mm,
So, that's when I had talked to him, and then we just talked about like what would I do in this situation, and then stuff like that. But yeah, he's pretty easygoing.
so that was just like the second part of being or what's called second stage. What is like a
Yeah. So it goes by like three stages. So you
oh
have like the first part of it, which is like a Google Forms, and then you have the in-person interview, and then you have your contract that you sign.
mm,
Um, and then that's when you'll get all the paperwork information or whatever. So it's like an official thing, like you're under contract.
mm.
So yeah.
Do they require you to use X amount of hours per week, or what is like the
It's they would like for you to do like about an hour a day or just what you can. Um and that's not too bad. Um but like if you don't do it one day, then you can just make up the next day or whatever. But as long as you're doing something as far as your public profiles, such as like reaching out, answering posts, or talking to people on Discord, trying to answer their questions, whatever. So yeah.
hmm. So what made you stop?
It was just kind of getting a little overwhelming with, I recently moved at that time. Um, I moved out here to North Dakota. I started school, like, because prior to this, I was cyber schooled actually. I was um homeschooled, cyber schooled.
Mm.
So this year I started public school for the first time in like 6 years. Um,
Mm.
so that's like a whole new situation for me to get into, more social situations or whatever. Um, yeah,
But
and then
this must have been like a crazy year then.
oh yeah, yeah.
Like yeah, I guess are you guys back in school or?
Yeah, we're in person. Thankfully, where I live, we're in a pretty small town. It's more of like a farming town. So, lots of fields, lots of country.
Mm.
But we're in person. There was one time where we had to take 2 weeks off of school, due to COVID. And unfortunately I did contract COVID
Oh.
during this time. So but thankfully, I didn't have too many of bad symptoms. It was only a headache, and just a fever. But it took about 2 weeks to get over. But
So
yeah.
did you also experience a lot of, because we have had two at my job that have had it. Thankful they were not, you know, they got it. One got it a week, and she was like gone for the whole weekend, and there's a whole thing. But
Hmm.
so we haven't had any cases. I work in a public school as well as a teacher,
Oh, nice.
um, so we didn't have any outbreaks and stuff like that. But they've
Hmm.
just experienced tiredness after, like for like maybe
Yeah.
2-3 weeks after, actually, like being quicker to be tired or exhausted.
Right. Oh, yeah. I definitely experienced that, and that, along with like I have a lot of like medical problems such as like food allergies. I also have arthritis. So along with my arthritis comes fatigue. So I had the COVID fatigue on top of my normal fatigue. it
Oh
was
wow.
it was a mess, but yeah, it was not pleasant.
Oh, that. No, I totally understand. I can really put myself in the place of you, what you're like, where you're coming from, to having multiple illnesses, or I wouldn't call it
Hmm.
dysfunctions, but like, I don't know. My smaller
Yeah.
brother is handicapped, and my nephew was. So I live in Denmark.
Hmm.
It's no secret that I live on Fyn, which is like the, if you ever seen Denmark, it's like there's a big chunk of it. Oh well, big. We're a very small country, but there's a big the biggest chunk is kind of connected to Germany, and then there's a little island which is quite big. It was called Fyn, right in the middle where I live, and
Hmm.
my nephew was the most allergic kid on that whole island, and that's pretty big. Like it's pretty
Oh
huge.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was like allergic to, e numbers. Like I don't know what's that called in English. I don't know. Oh, they put in like coloring and stuff like that. Like,
Like food coloring.
yeah,
Yeah.
food coloring and like tastes thingies and stuff like that. Like, but it has like e
Uh-huh.
numbers. At least in Denmark, it has e numbers. Like this taste, and we put this taste, so it makes this taste or whatever. It has a number, an e
Right.
number, and
Right.
those he was allergic to. So it's like specific, like all the way into the fundamentals of anything. And he was like allergic to eggs as well.
Wow.
So like there's eggs
Right.
in actually many things that we don't like usually think there is, but there is. So he was just super allergic when he was like a young kid. He's been better now because when you go through your teens, it does change sometimes for the better. And this time,
Hmm.
for him, fortunate it did. So he has a better time now because he changes
Yeah.
some few things. But yeah,
Yeah. That's crazy.
it was pretty crazy him growing up, and the same for my little brother. Like I said, he's handicapped, and um, my mom and my dad actually, my mom and my stepdad was told when he was born that he was never going to walk, and he was never to, um, be other than a vegetable in a wheelchair. Like one of
Yeah.
those that just
Wow.
can't do anything, just sits there and just looks out and nothingness in a
Hmm.
way. But
Yeah.
he has his own job, and he drives a car now, and
Oh, wow.
uh, yeah, he's doing. He still has his challenges, of course, and he's still
Hmm.
defined as handicapped. But they've never defined what his handicap actually is, because they can't figure out what his like wrong with him. You can say it like that. Like,
Right.
but yeah.
That's good that he has overcome that, and I can definitely relate to the food allergies because I'm allergic to wheat, I'm allergic to milk, and I'm allergic to latex as well as some foods. So that's
That's a
a
lot.
lot. Yeah, that's like again almost in every food. So my diet consists of lots of meats, organic foods, soy based. More of like a vegan um, type of diet, but I'm not vegan. I still eat meat.
Hmm.
But yeah, lots of. I also well, the technical term for it is celiac disease, and I was diagnosed with that at 3. So
Hmm.
yeah,
But
that,
as I don't know if I don't know, but I'm just gonna ask. Is it better now than it was when you were like first got it?
that's a good question because I'm not exactly sure right now. I know that I will never outgrow like the milk and the wheat because the milk makes my like deteriorates my intestine and my intestinal wall. But also like the wheat um makes me go into anaphylactic shock, which is like where your throat closes and it's very hard to breathe. You get rashes
Hmm.
everywhere. So that's why I have to carry around EpiPens all the time. It's basically a big needle filled with epinephrine. It's basically just adrenaline that say you have an allergic reaction that you would stab into your thigh and it would release it
Hmm.
um, or help it. And then you'd have to go to the doctors. But um, yeah, I know that I should outgrow like my I do have some minor allergies such as like watermelon, peanuts, maybe bananas and kiwi, but those 2 are really close to latex as well. And if I take in too much latex, like latex dust or touch too much latex, I can also go into anaphylactic shock with that. So I just have to be very careful of my surroundings, what I eat. And honestly, in some situations it's a good thing because I do get to watch what I eat and make sure that what I'm eating is healthy. Because I'm very athletic. I'm a dancer. I'm in track. I'm in all these other things. Um, so it is more of a healthier lifestyle, but yeah, just got to be careful.
Hmm. Would you go full vegan? Vegan?
Vegan,
Yeah.
I've thought about it, and if maybe. I mean, my diet does consist of a lot of vegan foods, again, like soybean, stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I just have to cut out the meat and I'd be good.
Hmm. Yeah.
But and I have had like meats that are made from more of a plant-based, and they're pretty good. They taste, they look the same, so I would definitely try the vegan diet.
Yeah, it's gone a long way, like vegan things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Again, I guess we're a full circle now. Like also people like hating on people that are vegan, right?
Right, right.
But do you think it's also sometimes the um, because I think that sometimes it's not if I guess it goes also for the gender, but I guess that's for any person out there.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes the problem is also that some people get mad at people that are different, that they're shoving it sometimes in people's faces, like, oh, I'm a vegan, I'm better than, kind of feel like it's better than you. I'm not saying that gender people are like
Mhm.
that. I'm just saying like it's, there's some people out there that do shove some stuff in to feel them, make themselves feel better, because they're vegan and they're doing better for the environment or something like that.
Right, yeah, and I've seen a lot of arguments and read a lot of articles about how there's, this debate about animal cruelty, of course, and then people going to vegan, because of that. They just don't believe in the cruelty of animals for the meat. Um, but also with stereotypes, a lot of stereotypes are placed on, foods and vegans and um, such as, say, someone that's weightlifting and they're vegan. That doesn't make sense to some people because, you think, oh, meat, protein, or whatever. But there's a lot of protein with the vegan diets. But they don't really question the same for, like, say, if a girl was, doing the same thing and eating vegan or stuff like that. So it just comes down to like stereotypes,
Mm.
which, can be very harmful in some situations, but also you just gotta be true to yourself.
100%,
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
And I think you should do it for the right reasons to become whatever you know. Like, I don't
Hmm.
think you should just do it just because to do it in a way. Do it for the right reasons, and also just do it because it's you, right? Like, if
Right. Right.
I'm just saying because I also have a friend that she's also vegan, or has not recently become vegan. It's like 2 or 3 years ago or something like that. But she like keeps posting on Facebook, and I know Facebook is is something different, but she keeps posting them articles about like people saying, oh yeah, you should all go vegan and stuff like that, and all see what people all the whole farm industry is doing to the animals and stuff like that, and of
Hmm.
course it's I'm not saying it's right what the farm animals people are doing, but I think it's just impossible to feed everybody in the world and have it like everybody like the cow has the most perfect life and just
Right.
like puts down to sleep and then takes super good care of it. It has to be industrialized in some way, right? And of course that's
Yeah.
not great, but in the end it's about money. I'm not saying we should be cruel to the animals, but we're not gonna you know what's it
Yeah.
called? We can't not make it a little bit cruel, if you know what I mean. Like, we can't go
Right.
completely saints, if you know what I mean. I don't know.
Hmm. And yeah, especially in today's society, like there's, say 30, 40 years ago, there wasn't as many like vegan foods out there. There wasn't as many other substitutes for meat. So I feel like as we get more, you know, again, more mainstream with people having different diets, having different lifestyles, then there will be more accommodations to this that we can substitute out that meat or cut back on the animal cruelty or whatever. But then, it just takes time.
Hmm. Yeah, it really does. It really does.
Yeah.
Amazing. That was actually an hour. I just looked at the
Oh,
time.
wow.
I for some reason I just look at the randomly over around an hour. I don't know. It's just maybe it's inside. I don't know if you probably, well, everybody I think it has it where if you set your alarm to like, let's say 8 a.m., right, and then
Hmm.
you wake up like 10 minutes before because it's like really important you get up at 8 a.m., for example.
Right.
Then like internally, like, oh, uh, it has to be like that. And I guess I think I kind of have the same thing where it's like, and I don't remember how long, like what time, how long it takes. But if that makes any sense, but it's just in my brain. I just it must be around an hour now, and I didn't look over, and it's has actually been an hour. So
Yeah.
it's just it's just this is funny. It's happened a few times where the you know the person I'm talking to
Hmm.
happens to be an hour, and
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, I do that.
I could talk. We could talk for another hour. Liam has been
Yeah,
on two times because we had so much to talk about, so had to bring him on for a second time. But yeah,
yeah. I mean, hey,
I
I
kind
would
of
be
don't
more
want
than
to stop the
happy.
conversation now, but it's just like
Yeah,
around an hour.
for
It's like perfect, but
for video editing purposes and stuff. Yeah,
not mostly
totally
for people's
understand.
attention span. If people don't want to listen
Yeah.
to a 4 hour podcast, maybe I could divide it into four, different episodes, but it's
Hmm.
more
Yeah,
people just
totally understandable.
around an hour would be great. But usually, the guests sometimes. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying, but it's usually like when I said, "Okay, now we're done," thanks for coming and stuff like that. This conversation continues for more after because it's kind of weird to say, "Oh, thank you for coming and let's have a good time," and
Right.
it's just kind of weird. But yeah, I do want to thank you for being on, and I'm happy we could do it. And I think we had like one of the best conversations of all time on this one. Actually, I really really
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed our conversation and it's amazing. I want to thank you so much for allowing me to have this conversation with you. Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's gonna be out on usually goes out on Wednesday. We're also on Spotify. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
nice.
that was actually
Fancy.
that was actually I thought it was just like, hey, I have this, audio file. I'm just gonna like YouTube, just put it on YouTube, just upload it there. I thought you could do the
Yeah.
same thing with Spotify. No, you have to go through a whole thing. So
Huh.
I tried to find some free options, but most of the options out there, they want you to pay money to have them upload, your file, and
Yeah.
this is not a big thing, so I didn't want to pay like $5 a month for some kind of subscription where I'm just uploading like a little bit there, and then
Right.
most of them has like a limit how much you could, but the one I found, Anchor, actually has you on limit. They haven't said anything yet, so maybe they
Nice.
will slap me with a big bill sometime. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah,
That'd be-
so I'm uploading to Anchor and then sends it to, you know, send it to Spotify. So that's how you get it on
Okay.
Spotify, which is really weird, but I guess that's
Yeah.
how you do.
Interesting.
Could be cool if just like you could upload it directly to Spotify, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well,
yeah.
awesome.
Uh, thank you so much, and
Well, thank you.